Welcome to the Javier Mendez podcast. We are live over here on the channel. So Jav, you just get back. You had a few of your guys fight. It almost looked like you came close. It was on the way to being a clean sweep. It's Enrique's redeemed himself, but and it looked like one of your fighters, he hurt his hand in his fight. Did he hurt his hand?
No, I don't recall any of my guys hurting their hand. No, if they did, they didn't tell me.
Kasum.
No.
They were saying that the commentators were telling me they thought Kasum hurt his hand because he wasn't throwing it. He wasn't throwing his right hand.
Nope, never said nothing about his hand hurt. We had a big issue in the back. Not a big issue, but it was an issue in the back because he never wears hand wraps. He doesn't never wrap his hands, never. And he didn't want to get his hands wrapped. And then he actually wanted a very thin wrap, but the commission has rules and guidelines that they have to follow, and they cannot break them. So it was just a little bit of an issue getting him to understand. Not an issue, but he had to understand that he could not go out there without his hands being wrapped. What the commission and South Dakota deemed appropriate wrap job. It was a shitty wrap job, to be honest with you, but it had to be done the way it was done. Otherwise, he wouldn't have got to fight. But I don't recall him ever saying nothing about he hurt his hand. Nobody told me. If he did hurt his hand, nobody told me.
So you're happy to have another new guy showing himself, coming in with the win, stepping on with you in Bellator.
No, Kasum showed me, great determination. I told him pressure him right from the get-go. He did exactly that. Where we went not so great is he went more to grappling, and all the 2 months he was here, he didn't grapple very much in sparring. But in the fight, he grappled more than he probably ever did ever. Well, the 2 months he was here in the sparring, he's had grappling, but in the sparring, he didn't do too many takedown attempts. Whereas Enrique Barzola's fight was primarily the vast majority of his training in sparring was to do exactly what he did to Jalen. Unfortunately for Enrique, right off the bat, he got an eye poke right off the start. He got eye poke. So Jalen pounced on him pretty good and did some pretty good damage to Enrique before Enrique could turn it over in about the halfway mark before he took him down. But Enrique was having a hard time at the beginning scene because of the eye poke. And Islam Mabadov, I mean, man, I didn't do my homework correctly because his opponent, he was really, really, really strong. And I didn't do my homework on that one properly. We had the right game plan, but I didn't look at his opponent like I should have. I didn't realize how strong of a grappler he is. Very, very strong grappler. I just take the blame. It's my fault. I should have paid attention to how good of a grappler he was, and I didn't. So
he was using the Dagestani handcuff on a Dagestani. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, he was using everything. I mean, the guy's a very strong grappling background,
but he wasn't coming in American style. He locked the legs in a figure four, and he was controlling the wrist. It's like, I'm going to go back to basics. It's like, whoa, that's the first time I've seen an American guy use. I've seen a couple lately. It's kind of like you see someone get good at the low kick and it starts coming in to there. But that was a tough one. Sydney Outlaw was a beast, man.
Well, for me, I mean, I see it here all the time. The guys do those techniques here all the time. So it's not something
old. I think it's like yesterday, yeah. The day before, right?
Yeah. That's just the way it is. But hey, we win some, we lose some. I was proud of Islam. He fought like a warrior. Sydney was just too strong. The wrestling exchanges, that's where we lost the fight, in the wrestling exchanges. And that's where we were trying to stay away from, the wrestling exchanges, but we just couldn't. He was just, forced his will, got the body locks, just clinched, held on well, great top position. I mean, Islam was never damaged, other than the first exchange, he got a bloody nose. When the first punches they exchanged, he bloodied up Islam's nose pretty good. But other than that, he was fine. I mean, that's the fight game. You come in with a plan, other people have another plan. But let's see who wins. Well, we didn't win that one.
It's part of the ride there. How is Umar doing? You get to see him, and was Habib there too?
No, Habib was there. Just Umar and Gaji. They cornered with me. Umar's good. He's in good spirits. He's hoping to come back in training. Hopefully December, January timeframe. We'll see. Then hopefully soon the UFC, after he gets cleared to train, then hopefully the UFC can have a plan for him when he can fight next. Hopefully before Ramadan, So, but who knows? Let's see. Let's see what happens. We're still not cleared the injury part, so we can't think too far ahead, right? So, let's see what happens from there. But yeah, the UFC event this Saturday, right? I missed a lot of the prelims, but I heard there was going for a record for first round knockouts. There was like
Yeah.
seven.
I didn't get to see it myself either. Actually, I was on the boat.
Yeah, I just had come back from South Dakota, so I missed. I came in as to watch it as it was like the last of the prelims, main event prelims fights is what I saw. So I didn't get to really see much. There's really not much to talk for
Roundtree.
me as far as
Roundtree.
Roundtree.
That's a KO super clip right there.
He impressed me. Roundtree really impressed me. 4-5 win streak. That was a beautiful cross he threw straight down the pipe. He's nice and relaxed. I don't know, man. I think he's either he gets a title shot next, or they set him up with the guy to beat next, and then gets a title shot. I mean, 4-5 win streak. Not many of the light heavyweights. Not many people in any division have at that level, right? That have that many fights win streak. So that's 4 for him. Maybe he'll get one more and he'll get a shot, but then you never know. Look at Habib, look at Islam Makhachev. I mean, they had over 10 fights win streak before they got a shot. So I don't know what'll happen, but I'm just saying that Roundtree looked very impressive. The main event was it was kind of lackluster because they were so goddamn good, both of them. But what can you say? The champ, has been around a long time, fighting at 155, 170, and he's actually doing really well at 170. And this one here, he just fell a little short, but he's still at 42? He's 42 now?
Think so. You talking about Dos Anjos?
Yeah, Dos Anjos, he's 42. Luque's what? 39, 38?
Yeah, he's the younger one. Dos Anjos was talking like how he could handle Islam or Khabib a couple of fights ago, but it's kind of like now it looks like he's going the direction of Tony,
Well, I don't know if he should be talking Khabib because he fought Khabib earlier, before he won the title. He fought Khabib and Khabib ragdolled him. So I don't know if he ragdolled him.
It might have been Islam. I'm like, it's something from the past. I'm recalling.
It's got to be Islam because Khabib and him did fight, and it wasn't. He didn't do too well with Khabib. So I think it was Islam because Islam and him were supposed to fight, and that fight never happened. So he's a fighter, and you can talk all you want. You got to prove it. So for him, it's like, hey, yeah, okay, whatever. Islam, we were supposed to fight. We didn't fight. I wanted to fight you. So yeah, I can understand that. That's what fighters do, and that's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to talk like that.
Of course,
you're a fighter. He was also a former champion, and he's a world-class fighter. So Dos Anjos, hey man, kudos to him. I mean, no disrespect in him feeling that and believing in that. None, zero. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to feel if you're in the run for a title. You're supposed to talk like that, and so he is. And right now, I guarantee you, all he's thinking, if he's not thinking about retirement, he's thinking, okay, 1-2 more fights, and I'm back in the picture again, which is actually true. Because Dos Anjos doesn't fight lower level people. He fights high level guys. So 1 or 2 good wins against high quality opponents could definitely put him in title picture.
For sure. I mean, that's yeah. He is where he's at. And you don't always just get to win because you want to or you say you will.
No, it's like you don't get what you want because you want to. I can give you an example on some of the things. I got a lot of topics to discuss on this particular thing about you don't get what you want. For instance, let's say Wonder Boy, right? He's out there stating that, hey, you guys beware. If you're going to fight against me, you better be professional and make the weight, because if you don't make the weight, I'm not fighting you. Well, when you go and do stuff like that, you kind of put the promotion in a bad kind of place because, number one, they're ready for a fight. it happens. People don't make weight. Your job is as a professional to make the weight. But the problem comes this, right? Number one, you did everything. You did everything on your end to make the fight, right? And customary, the UFC normally pays you for training to, your show money.
Yeah.
When you train, the guy
You
doesn't
you
make
pay
weight.
for the camp. You pay money for a
Yeah,
camp.
yeah. But the problem is this: when you're at Wonder Boy, is status. What do? He's six figures easily six figures. So, and then you refuse to fight the guy, and they're willing to give you the commission, give you 20%. You probably could have got 30% from the opposition. So you neglected not to fight that guy. So the promotion is okay. Now we're without a fight, but yet you want us to give you whatever. I heard he gets like 200 plus, and I could be wrong on that. So let's just say six figures plus. So the promotion is supposed to give you six figures plus. From his point of view, he's correct. But from the promotion's point of view, they're just going, well, we just lost the fight, and you want us to pay you that kind of money, which that's kind of hard. I can see training expenses, but to get full pay, they need to give him something, I think, for what he did. But I don't know about full pay. But that's between them. Hopefully he can get full pay. That would be good on him because he's such a great guy. But I just don't know as a business that the UFC is going to do that with everybody. I'm sure, if you're fighting, let's say, and you're a 10-10 guy, and yeah, your guy missed weight and you made weight and you didn't want to fight the guy, and the UFC might just give you the 10 and 10. It's 20 grand, no big deal. But somebody else that's at a high level, I don't know if they would do that. I think there's a lot more to it.
Handing out hundreds of thousands because it didn't happen. Yeah,
no.
I get that. I mean, it's like, I guess he lost a fight where the guy came in heavy, and most of the time, that bad cut affects your opponent, where he's actually, it's to your benefit to fight the guy that didn't make weight.
He lost to the Till from England. He lost to it was like a 3.5 pounds. So it was like, he'd been there before and he lost a very tough decision. So, I mean, you can understand where he's coming from 100%. But as a promotion, what do they do? Where's the happy medium? And then him now coming out and making a statement, which is actually for him, it's pretty good because everybody that's going to take him as a fight, they know that he is not going to fight. So these guys, they're going to have to be professional like he is.
You're not going to get paid for missing. You're not going to get paid for missing weight. Basically.
Yeah, but most fighters don't intend to take a fight and miss weight. They just feel that they can make it. I've had many situations here where fighters tell me personally, "Oh, I can make the weight, coach," and I'm like, "No, you can't. No, I can make the weight." And they call the shots. So you're like, "No, don't do this. Don't take this fight." But the fighters, they make the decisions. I'm taking the fight. What are you gonna do? They don't make weight, even though we told them, or the coach tells them they don't make the weight. It's their right to want to take the fight or not take the fight. And then after that, you as a coach or you as a promotion decide, do you let this person fight at 155 knowing that he missed 2 times in a row? Or do you make him go up in weight if he fights again? Or do you never take this guy serious again and don't put him on your card? I mean, there's a lot of things that happen as a result of you not making weight. Those things happen. You got to be prepared for those. You can't, it's not just so simple. It's not your way. There's always different elements involved in things like this. You just can't have it one way. You just can't. It's just very difficult. Like I'll give you another, for instance, with Aljamain Sterling and O'Malley, right? Aljamain saying that he's getting the Dana White privilege. O'Malley is. And I probably agree with him on that statement, and I'll tell you why. The promotion goes on what makes him the most money. If you're looking at what O'Malley does number-wise, then you can realize why he's getting those privileges, because he makes the most money for them.
Because he has a bigger podcast than us. That's why.
Well, he's got a bigger following. People are tuning into him. Whereas the better fighter by far, in my opinion, and one of the greatest, if not the greatest now, bantamweight is Sterling. He's proven it. But the people aren't gravitating towards him like they did O'Malley. O'Malley, they gravitated to him right away because of his exciting style. So that's what's going on here. It's not I like you as a person. I like you as a money. The UFC looks at every opportunity to make the most out of each opponent, the fighter that comes on their organization. So they're going to look and see who's going to make the most money for us. Well, that's who we're going to make a main event, or that's who we're going to try to push, the person to make money. Why does Conor McGregor get to choose who he fights when he fights? Why? Because he makes money for the promotion. You know, why did Nate Diaz have choices? Why did he have choices? Because he made money for the promotion. You know, if you make money for the promotion, you get more choices than the others. So it's something to understand. This is not 100% legit sport. It's entertainment sport. So that means there's things interchangeable, meaning that if you're fighting somebody and the number one doesn't always fight number two, number one sometimes fight number 11 because number 11 happens to be a huge draw. So number two should get that shot, but number 11 gets it because he's going to make us the most money. And if I'm a promotion, guess what I'm doing? I'm doing what they're doing. You know, I'm going to make the most money for the company. That's their job. So
it's the same as the movie business, same as the record business, same with all the businesses.
It's all the business.
One guy could have went to Juilliard Music School, but the other dude is just more rock and roll with his cool hair, and people will buy that album, even though the other guy worked harder and has a better skill set. Yeah.
And then there's a lot of variables, man. There's just so many things that happen that change. They're just doing a new thing on the rule. Like eye pokes and stuff. They're changing the rule on that, which is a good thing. Now, if you get eye poked, you know, and they don't call in the doctor right away. The doctor is allowed to give you put ice on your eye, give you a little bit more time, and then at the end, they come in the doctor see if you can see or not. You know, which could change a lot of situations because, you know, there's times when a guy. I can't see. Once the doctor hears that, it's too late. The fight's over. Whereas if they give you more time and they're allowed to put ice in your eye, you know, maybe after 2-4 minutes, you're able to see.
Maybe they could save a fight. Maybe it'll help everybody's job, including the referees, including the judges. They don't want a bunch of fights going sideways.
Yeah, exactly.
They need the fight to finish. They all need the fight to finish, right?
Yeah, they're also doing situations too where if let's say I'm the top fighter and I have the bottom fighter and I happen to foul. I'm the top fighter and I foul my bottom opponent. Okay, they're going to break the foul and then they're going to separate us. They're going to because I broke the rule. They're going to separate us and we stand again, right? But now let's say I'm the bottom. I'm the bottom fighter. I'm the top fighter, and the bottom fighter fouls me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not going to change. They're not going to separate us because he's the bottom fighter. He fouled me, so I still get top position. I still get, you know, the priority. I'm not going to break us up because of that. Because a lot of times guys will get broken up and it was not their fault, and then they had a great position. It was all broken up. Now, if you have a great position, you're the guy that's getting fouled, right? Then you still keep your position. But now, if you're got great position and you foul the other opponent who has the lesser position, then they get stood up. So it's kind of a nice little thing they're doing there. So they're making changes, which is kind of cool for the sport in general. That you know, they're looking at these things and they're trying to make it better for everybody. And like all sports, right? Football, everything. You notice? Remember, it used to before. They used to go quarterbacks anywhere they want, this and that. Now quarterbacks have all that protection. You're not allowed to hit a quarterback after a certain, you know, ball's thrown. You know, you're not allowed to do a lot of things, right? So,
they worked around that rule. The San Francisco 49ers guy got his arm broke. He was like back here at a position almost like where you'd be in a submission position, you know, like when you use martial arts for joint against joint.
Yeah.
And he's like going to throw the ball, and this dude like bam, and it's just like broke his arm. And then the 49ers lost their quarterback, lost that game, lost their shot at the Super Bowl because of that. So it's like, you're right. All rules are changing. The eye poke messes up so many fights. They're like
big time. Eye pokes they're a major deal. And it's good to
you think some guys were using the eye poke to their advantage? They're losing a fight. Like, aha.
You know, I don't know.
Hard to tell.
I can't really say. I don't know of anybody that I think usually intentionally eye pokes you. I think fighters really don't have that mentality. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I would like to think that there is no fighter that does that on purpose.
I can't see myself in the middle of a fight going, "You're losing, eye poke, hurry." Okay, go. I mean, unless you take a martial art that's about eye poking. But here's a question. Finally, Mark Zuckerberg has shut the doors for his probable fight against Musk. Do you think Ngannou versus Fury will be the second most talked about fight if somehow Ngannou is will be able to pull it off?
Yes. I think so. I think Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou would be a big fight to talk about if it's happening soon. It's going to definitely take over. Before that, Elon Musk and Zuckerberg, that was number one, of course, because that would have drew, honestly speaking, probably over $1 billion, in revenue because of who they are.
Well, they have the platforms to promote their own fight. Come on, they own the platform.
Jeez. And the whole world knows them, bro, and everybody, even the casual, they never even seen MMA, would tune in for that one. I would. I mean, I'd watch it. I know I'm looking at a train wreck, but I'd watch it. And also, Habib was actually asked to train with Elon, and Habib had to decline because of his particular beliefs and hey, he's as loyal comes. So with Habib, it's never about prestige, never about money. It's about honor and loyalty and doing the right thing. That's for him and his family and his country and his religion. He's like, it just never stops with him, how he never changes who he is. It's amazing.
It's the same reason we're not going to see Habib become a Hollywood movie action star.
Never.
Because it's not his nature. It's not his lifestyle. It's not the beat of the drum that he walks by, his religion. So,
so it's not, that never happened, and he's as Muslim as they come. He's through and through Muslim, and he's a beautiful person, and it is what it is. And if you understand that, then you understand and you know him, and then you can appreciate who he is. You may not ever want to be Muslim, but it doesn't matter. You can appreciate and respect, what he is and who he is. It doesn't change. Doesn't change.
Well, that's the thing. It's like people don't realize, for some reason, our channel must be suppressed because we have almost 150,000 subs. I only see 40 people here, and they just get to hear that Habib turned down training. This is big news. It's going to hit later. He turned down training Elon Musk. I mean, geez, that's like headline.
I'm sure it's out already. This was just recently that this happened, so I'm sure it's out. I don't think that that's something that's not going to get out. It's just a matter of people asking Habib.
It'll be coming from you. Here we go. Let's look at this card, Hav. This is what's coming up this week. Run through this real quick. We'll take a couple of questions afterwards. So the O'Malley card, Sterling card. Anyone else on there you're looking forward to see that you can see? Can you see them on the screen okay, or are they too far out?
No, I can't see too far out.
Okay,
let me see. Tell me who it is. I mean, I know that the main two. I saw the what's that 24/7? What did they do that show?
The ESPN preview show kind of thing?
No, the one they do week out.
I know what you're talking about. Embedded?
Yeah. I watched the Embedded 292 and Wei Li. I'm looking forward to her fight. She's awesome. The main event, of course, going to see versus the grappler versus the striker, because that's really what it's going to be, grappler versus the striker more than anything. And then Chito Vera is fighting Pedro Munoz. That should be interesting. I don't really know who else is in there, but those three are interesting, good fights.
You can see now. I just zoomed in for you. You should be able to see it. You get Mario Bautista versus the Unknown Fighter, and Ian Gary.
Ian Gary's good. Who's he fighting?
He's fighting Neil Magny. I think he's.
I'll take Ian Gary, even though Neil Magny is like almost indestructible, man.
Yeah, Ian Gary's bringing something new to the table.
I like Ian Gary. I'll pick him.
I like Neil Magny too, but I think Ian Gary is more of a finisher of the two. At least that's my take. And then, of course, we've got the main card, and that's the big boys. Aljamain versus O'Malley. What do you think about that fight?
I like Sterling. I think that he's Man, I mean, let's put it this way: you could take down the Olympian, the combat sports athlete probably of all time, because who else has won what Henry's done, right? Who else has those accolades in the fight world, right?
Right,
Olympic
right.
gold medal and two UFC title belts. Sorry, who's done that? So and then Sterling out wrestled him. I mean, I know it's MMA, so you really can't see out wrestled him, but he took him down. So I'll say that. And would I have thought that was going to happen before Sterling did it? I would say no, I didn't. I didn't expect that to happen, but it did. It did. And so you gotta give it to Aljo. He's turned out to be at the present time. I think I'm correct when I probably say he's probably the greatest bantamweight of all time at the present time. I think he's proven that by what he's did. I mean, when he first fought Peter Yan the first time, I thought he didn't win. I didn't think he won, and he was complaining about a neck thing, his neck. He got that fixed. He comes back and look what the performance he gives. Wow,
Yeah.
unbelievable performance. And then then they did it with another unbelievable performance. Then Segudo performance. Come on, man, he's the real deal, and now he's got this challenge, and then he'll have more challenges, and yeah, he's But the question is, after successful or not successful title defense, is he going to go to featherweight because to leave room for his training partner, who's number one, I think, right now.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. I know that Sean O'Malley sold the fight. He gets the headline. I'm sure he'll do well financially. You always see him on private jets and all that. He's probably going to, between his own success, he's decided to be successful in business and fighting. So
yeah, he's fun to watch. He's very
he is. He's very colorful. Good commentary.
Yeah, he's
entertaining
good guy, man. Yeah, O'Malley, I like him. I mean, I saw the embedded. He's driving a pink Lamborghini.
Yeah,
it's badass. I'm like, hey, it's like I like him. Because in the Peter Yan fight, what you saw his colors when he got dropped the way he did, or how he got handled, and how he came back, and he never gave up, and this and that. So I mean, man, I hats off to him. I mean, hats off to him. He just can he better his performance after that? I would say yeah. I think you're going to see a better Peter Yan. A better a better O'Malley than when he fought Peter Yan. I think you're going to see a better O'Malley. I really do. But let's see what happens. But I think you're going to see a better one. That's my feeling.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing about fights, because someone just asked this before we answer that. It's like, can you see Justin being the backup fighter for Islam versus Charles? And that's the interesting of any fight, is that will the great top fighter make it through pain-free or injury-free weight cutting to the table? That's the marathon that happens before the fight in every fight. I don't know if people always think about that or just take it for granted.
I think that due to the fact that as a lightweight, I think Justin is probably next in line because of what he did. I would think that Justin would probably be the smarter of that and say, nah, I'll wait my shot. Give me my shot after. Give me the winner. That's what I would think, because I would think Justin would be smart to want a full camp.
And more time to rest and recover from everything that he's...
Yeah, because I think that I don't think anybody can deny how great he looked. I don't think anybody can deny, as a lightweight, who deserves the next shot. I think the UFC, the fans would agree that as a lightweight, he deserves the next shot. I mean, I was asked who I wanted. They go, "You're asking me who I want?" I say, yeah. Who do you want if you guys are successful? I go, well, I want Alex. I want a rematch with Alex. If
you want Volkanovski, you want to shut that door and move on.
I want to shut that door and move on. That's what I want. But that's not who we're going to get. We got to focus first on Charles, because Charles ain't going to be easy. It's going to be a different Charles, highly motivated Charles, a more focused Charles, more determined Charles. No, we got our hands full with Charles. If we don't take care of that and we think ahead of Charles, we're in trouble. So I'm not thinking ahead of Charles. No way. But they asked me who I wanted after, and of course I asked the question. If you ask me who I want, then yeah, I want Alex. If you ask me today, I want Alex. If you ask me tomorrow, I want Alex. Ask me next month, I want Alex. If we're successful, ask me. I want Alex.
Yes,
that's what's on my mind. That's the challenge I want. I want that challenge.
You guys have sold us, all you Australian podcasters with your angles. Let's just get it done with already, okay? That's what I'm saying. Come on. Nobody's running here, but it's the structuring of the UFC. It's the way the machine works. In
They
between,
decide.
if
The
someone
UFC
takes your fight,
decides.
you can make it look, my opponent's running. Yeah, sure he is. No, analytics are
No.
changing the way the ocean's running. Blame it
Listen,
on the weather.
Alex runs from nobody. Islam runs from nobody.
Exactly.
But they're all looking for their best challenges. Hey, come on. It's very common knowledge that Islam wants to challenge for the welterweight title at some point, too. So, maybe after this next fight, if we're successful, like we're planning on being, Islam goes, I want the next welterweight title shot. Islam's got
Yeah.
a right to want it. Why not?
Right.
Islam. That's what I mean. That's what Islam wants. I want what I want. Islam wants what he wants. At the end of the day, I'm going to go with whatever Islam wants, is what I'm going to say. Whatever Islam wants is what I'm going to do. Because, look, listen, if I want something that Islam doesn't want it, then I don't get the best Islam I can get. I want what Islam wants, because what Islam wants, Islam's going to give the best effort. So, therefore, let's see what happens. At the end of the day, I'm going to want, at the end of the day, what Islam wants to do. I'm on board on the Islam train when it comes to his fighting, who he agrees to fight, who he wants to fight, who the UFC allows him to fight. That's where it really comes down to. But you asking my fantasy, this and that, then I'll tell you what my fantasies are. But they're not reality. They're just fantasies.
You're like, even if you want to go up, like, let's go finish that other thing again and then go back up. That would be your, but see, you being a former fighter, you know how it rolls. You don't take it personally. You're like, I did what I wanted to do. Why wouldn't he do what he wanted to do? Right.
Yeah. Usman is coming to train soon. Hopefully this month, next month, early next month. He's coming back to train soon. He's got a fight October 7th in Bellator 300. So Usman's coming to train very soon.
This one's interesting. You kind of addressed it. Says, Coach, please give us your sincere opinion on Volk's team's baseless accusations against Islam, even Volk himself. I want to see Islam smash Volk. Let's see this guy. He'd be picking with you. You guys would be picking the same fight, right? But I also think they don't deserve a rematch. From
to me, it was an exciting. To me, it was an exciting fight. It delivered, and I want, I like those type of fights that deliver, and Volk and Islam too, whenever that happens, will deliver. So that's why I'm looking for that fight, because I know it's going to be fireworks, and they felt they might have won. I know we won, So, but I want to redo it again, because there's a lot of people thought, Islam won, but then there's people thought that Volk won, and it's because the end of the round, the damage that was sustained, on Islam. In that 1 minute that Volk took command, he did good damage in the 5th round, man.
Well, people that don't score fights and they catch it in the closing frame, they make an opinion, especially a casual. They don't understand how to judge a fight. Don't look at the cumulative strikes, cumulative takedowns, the time dominating at 25 minutes. If one guy looked good for 30 seconds and one guy looked good for 24 minutes and 30 seconds, here we are,
Yeah.
I mean, look more than 30 seconds, but of course, it's just like that was the closing frame. People see that and they make an opinion.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, Coach, do you think Islam will have a better weight cut this time?
Yeah, because we're going to have 36 hours to rehydrate, not 24.
Yeah, it's more so than the weight cut is the rehydration. Will he have a better rehydration? Yeah.
You got to remember, for guys that don't know, Islam came in about 3 to 4 kilos lighter than he normally does. Alex came in heavier than him, 2 pounds heavier, if I'm not mistaken, because Islam normally require more to rehydrate properly. So, yeah.
Well, my fellow veteran, visionary vet, Justin has stated he doesn't want to be back up. Yeah, well, that's what we guessed. That's what you said you would do if you were him just a minute ago.
Yeah, I would never do that, because he's guaranteed. His performance he's going to get the next title shot.
He doesn't doubt his validity to be the next guy, for sure.
Yes.
And neither should anybody.
No, nobody should doubt who's the next lightweight, that's entitled to that title fight. Nobody.
The way he took out Poirier was dominant and decisive, and
yeah, but the UFC can do whatever the heck they want. They can change it up. They can make a Conor fight. Because who draws more than Conor? Nobody. So it's a business. It's not who deserves it. It's, I guess if you look at it from that perspective, who deserves it? Well, if Conor makes the most money, he deserves it. He makes the most money. That's what the business is. It's about making the most money. So there you go. Hate it, love it, whatever. But you can call the shots when you can make. That's why Nate Diaz was so good at what he did, because he knew what his value was. And if you don't know your value, then go ahead and line up and take orders the way you're going to be told to take orders. But if you know what your value is, you're going to stand up, get out of that line, and go, no. I'm this. I want this. I want that. Come on.
Yeah.
Who else that's not even a champion can fight a five-round bout in a bout where the main event is not the main event? Who can do that?
Yeah.
Nate Diaz can, because he's a G. He's a G.
He can come right off his bicycle, doing his part-time marathon, and have his cardio lined up and just go.
Yeah. Well, here's a guy that can win a fight without winning the fight. He wins the fans.
Yeah, that's where you win. Let's see, Muhammad Arif. Do you think Islam fighting in Abu Dhabi will make his performance better? Well, yeah, we were kind of stating that by the rehydration, right? I mean, do you think the vibe? What about the energy and the vibe? Do you think that makes a difference as a coach?
Yes, it helps big time. It helps when everybody's for you. It helps. Not everybody was for us over there. We had fans, but we didn't have that many. So no, it helps. It helps to have the crowd on your side. Yes, but it's not. It doesn't necessarily make the difference, but it does. It does help. It does help.
I love this one because this is nothing we would ever expect to get answered, and I don't think we have an answer for it. Why does Oliveira wear an Illuminati necklace, Hav?
I don't even know what an Illuminati necklace looks like, so I have zero idea.
He must be sneaking in there.
Yeah, I have zero idea.
Somebody says, I think the Musk Zuck fight will be on virtual reality. All the dots are connecting.
Well, someone told me that Zuckerberg is moving on. He's not entertaining the thought anymore, and he's just moving on to competitions. And because remember, Zuckerberg, before all this started happening, he was competing in jiu-jitsu tournaments. So here's a guy that you got to give him his props, man. He was already competing. He was already doing this. He was doing it for the love of the sport. He's not doing it because of showing anybody other than what his love is. So respect factor for Zuckerberg is 10 times higher than it would be for Elon, because Elon would only be doing this because Zuck, was doing it first. And it's kind of like one of those deals that one's doing it for the love of the sport, the other one's doing it for the love of entertainment. I'll go with Zuck.
Well, thank you for complimenting our podcast. And let's see. It says, Coach, is Islam training and ready yet? Yeah, Islam is asking us. Coach, is Islam ready for Charles getting ready for UFC 294?
Islam is training in Dagestan. I don't get there. Unfortunately, I'm only going to get there last 2 weeks of his training camp, because I'm going to be here training Usman for his title elimination for the $1 million tournament in Bellator October 7th. So I'll be here until Usman's fight, which is October 7th. Then from there, I go to Abu Dhabi, the tail end of. So I'll be there at the tail end of Islam's camp. I'm not going to really be there for much of it. So knowing Islam, he's got great coaches, and Saif, the Olympic Taekwondo coach, and Mohammed, the head coach. So he's got great coaching already. So where he's at, I'm assuming great, because he's always in, great spirits, great mentality. I mean, Islam's a champ for a reason. He does everything right. And I don't know if people remember all the talking Habib used to do about the next champ. The next champ we said it was Islam. We bragged about it, and not many people believed us except the people that were around Islam. But now look what happened. He's the champ, and now nobody doubts him. And look how they went from pound for pound, right? He went with the number one, number two, pound for pound, and like after one win, like he wasn't even in that top 15 if I'm not mistaken. And all of a sudden he go boom right at number two, or pound for pound. That's crazy. How does that happen?
Habib had a deep look into the future.
Yeah.
Let's say hello. I'd like to ask Coach about Usman being on the UFC. Does he need to wait for Islam, or he'll be there when Islam's there as champ? Thanks for your humility. That's how it's fun.
I don't know how that's going to go. It all depends on managers, what Ali can do with Bellator and Usman, and when the contracts are up and they're up for negotiations. And at the present time, Bellator is taking such great care of Usman that I don't see any reason why Usman at the present time would want to jump over to the UFC. But you never know, right? Anything's possible. Let's see what happens at the present time. At least for the next year, we won't know anything of that nature because Usman's going to be too busy focused on winning the $1 million tournament, which will happen next year. So the present time, none of that's even going to remotely be possible. And that's due to, Usman's, challenging himself to win that $1 million, tournament.
We got this as an interesting one. Like, I guess I could phrase it for them from Daniel Quinn. Are there any phrases fighters say that make you think they're going to lose? Like, is there a tell? Like stinking thinking, negative language, the way somebody's talking, not your top guys, but people that you've seen in your time as a coach where you're like, Johnny's on a mission in the wrong direction.
Yeah, the energy level, the worriness and stuff. When you used to see a fighter be a certain way and all of a sudden there's a complete change in them, that's usually a bad sign. Then you go, oh shit. And usually the oh shit turns into oh reality. So yeah, there is things, nothing is specific per se, but there is changes in fighters. If they got a normal routine, the routine changes, like oh shit, Okay, let me give you an example.
Morale and words and language, right?
Well, no, I'm talking about what happened in Kasum. He normally doesn't wrap his hands ever. He never wrapped his hands ever. So now we're going into a scenario with Bellator. They insisted he wrap his hands. He was not having it. He was not having a good idea. Why don't you just wrap a little bit? So those are the thought brain patterns that were going through his head. Like, man, I got to wear this. And then you said, hey, what happened to his hand? He wasn't throwing his hand. So who knows what it was? Was it a broken hand? I don't think so. What was it? I don't know. Because I never picked it up that he wasn't throwing the right hand. All I picked up that he was wrestling. But what I'm saying is, the mess up with the wraps messed him up. It wasn't his normal routine. And
so that might have been on his mind. That jacked up his pattern a little bit. He was going with his left with jab, jab, jab. And then earlier he was throwing the right, but then he stopped throwing it in the last round or so.
And that's what I'm talking about. Those are the kind of things I'm talking about. Like, people don't pick that up, but I do. They are important. So whoever, Daniel Quinn, you're asking, no, that's not Daniel Quinn. Who's asking the question?
That was from Daniel Quinn.
Yeah, that's Daniel Quinn. Yeah, Daniel Quinn's asking a very intelligent question because most people don't pick up that kind of stuff. It does happen. Abu Bakar's last fight, he had problems with the hand wraps and he had problems with other things. And I was like, oh crap, I had him perfect, had him dialed in. All of a sudden, I didn't, and that scared me. And I tried to get him back on track. I couldn't do it. So I failed with Abu Bakar because I could not get him back on track. He was looking like $1 million in sparring. Everything was great. That day fell apart, and that's what people don't understand. It's like getting to the fight and thinking the camp's been fantastic. Then all of a sudden something goes wrong and the fight goes away, because something went right there in that warm up, right there in the wrapping job, right there in the hitting the mitts, right before you go out. All those things are key and important for a fighter's sanity to go out there and give himself the best chance to win. Those things happen. They're real. I've experienced them, and I just don't like them when they happen.
It could be their superstition, having problems at home in their relationship. It could be a lot of things, man.
It could be anything. They just don't know, and they do affect you, good or bad. It could be a good sign, it could be a bad sign, and it's up to you to realize if it's a bad sign and go with it. If it's a good sign, go with it. Like I give you, for instance, Cain Velasquez when he lost to Junior Dos Santos, right? The first time he had a torn meniscus, and he went in to fight with a torn meniscus. His energy level was crazy. He was walking like a wounded individual going to war, not highly motivated, just in the back before we go called into the weigh-in where they had all the fans there and they get called to the weigh-in. Cain was just slumping around like this, and he moved like this. and that's never been him. His MO is he walks around like a lion, walks in the back, pouncing. And the rematch he got with Dos Santos, he was that lion. He was pouncing around, looking around, this and that, and there's the difference right there. And I knew that he went in there with that right intent, but then when he was wounded, he went in with like that wounded mentality. He did not go in confident at all, just like why I got to do this type thing. I'm injured, blah 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 blah.
Aha. Somehow Javier kind of blanked out. Maybe he'll log back in. This is interesting. I don't know what happened. There you are.
No, someone called me. So anyways, but all right. One more question.
One more question. Let's see. Oh, something like what's going on with Bellator? Will the PFL buy it? Any updates on that?
I have zero idea. We'll know next year. Honestly, that's as I know. Nobody knows. It's only the buyers and the sellers know. No one else knows. We know there are negotiations. We know if it happens, it'll be next year. That's what we do know. But whether it happens, yes or no, that's unsure. Only the people that are talking about buying and selling know what the chances are.
This is a good question. Can you see Islam versus Charles being a 5-round war? That's interesting.
Yes, because I always go 5-round war. I never go finishes. Yes,
that's your battle plan,
vision.
no matter what.
That's my battle plan, no matter what. I'm not gonna go. Oh, we're gonna finish him in the second. Nope.
Those are just bonuses.
So that is the way I think. That's the way I think as a coach. 5 rounds. I prepare 5-round wars. I don't prepare 2-round, 3-round. Nope, 5-round.
So who's training at the gym right now? Any upcoming fights, or you get a little bit of a break, a little low in between?
No, a lot of guys are training right now. Mark Clamaco is fighting next week in semifinal road to Singapore on the flyweight division. Yeah, road to the UFC and the flyweight division. He's in semifinals. Following week, same time we have me and Kane are going to go corner a bunch of our fighters. Up in Napa in this area, Northern California. They got an event where you got about 5 or 6 fighters fighting in this event. So we're going to go corner most of the guys on that event. And then after that, Daniel Allen is going to fight in the Contenders September, 19th or 20th, something like that. It's in September, third week of September, Daniel Allen's fighting. Then after that, Usman's fighting on October 7th and I think San Diego and the Bellator 300. And after that, it's Islam's fight October 21st. And from there, that's it. That's all I know.
Well, everybody, hit the like and subscribe button. Follow Hav at AKA JAV on Instagram. And thanks for watching our show today. And more coming up soon.